Had a little bit of a quick confession to make. This is going to sound a little bit creepy because, well, it probably is, but I love the LucasArts series of adventure games. I love them with all of my heart. You know, I realise this is perhaps an odd way to start a Sierra-based retrospective, but that's how I feel. From Maniac Mansion through to Grim Fandango, by way of Fate of Atlantis, with a quick detour past Escape from Monkey Island. Let's not go there. I love those games like no other. If I could, I would propose marriage to LucasArts' back catalogue of classic games. That's how much I love them. I would then consummate that marriage with the fiery passion of 1,000 rabbits, buzzing with a sexual energy that can only be provided by a sheer mountain of Duracell batteries. Disclaimer, do not consume contents of a Duracell battery. Doing so will not only render a sexual dynamo, it will, however, lead to vomiting, diarrhea, hair loss, and one repulsed girlfriend who will then duly dump you for a man named Greg, leaving you bald, sat on the toilet, addicted to battery acid cocktails, and weeping into a photo of your now ex-girlfriend as you record a King's Quest retrospective on your laptop. I must say that two of the things that I admire most about the LucasArts adventure games is that you cannot die, and there are no dead ends. Well, you know, post Monkey Island at least. Playing a LucasArts adventure game was akin to having a personal assurance from the developer that no matter what, there was always a way to move forward and complete the game. I still remember as a fresh-eyed and bushy-tailed youth how my dad was bringing a PC back from work, and unbeknownst to me, he had purchased a copy of Sam & Max on the way back home. To the PC World shop assistant who recommended my dad, a man who knows next to nothing about computer games, to purchase a copy of Sam & Max for his two impressionable young'uns, I salute you, sir, wherever you may be. As I played Sam & Max for the first time, I was instantly blown away. It looked like a cartoon. It had voice acting. It didn't simply involve shooting everything in sight like a madman. It was amazing to someone who had up to that point only ever played console games. Having fallen head over heels in love with Sam & Max, I yearned to experience other tales from within the genre, and so in the spirit of my favourite dog and rabbit duo, I hit the road. Well, you know, sans car, I mean, I was obviously only 12 at the time, so... But anyway, I headed into town on a quest to my local games emporium in the hope of finding a whole treasure trove of other adventure titles.
You see, kids, back then we had no internet. We had little choice but to go out into the real world in search of the knowledge which we sought. Knowledge such as the mythical, abandoned, crusty old jazz mag that had always seemed to be left in the woods by some unseen weirdo, presumably as a lure to catch curiously minded children such as myself when I was a young'un.
I'm sure to catch some children now. Come, my pretties, come. This witch's outfit is a perfect disguise for my paedophilic tendencies.
I did eventually make it to the game store, and I started to scour the shelves for any other adventure titles, and it didn't take long to find some. I mean, this was when adventure games were like in the mainstream. It was as though Day of the Tentacle was like Call of Duty or something back then. Over time I performed enough chores, which is also known as pestering my dad until he caves in, to be able to pick up many of the LucasArts titles, but I also came across a couple of titles by Sierra. I rushed home as fast as my chubby little legs could carry me and proceeded to install these new games, starting with the LucasArts titles, on my shit-hot 486 DX2 with 16 megabytes of RAM. I mean, this thing probably could have rendered Kelly LeBrock out of Weird Science whilst it was in sleep mode, for goodness sakes. Sadly, in practice it actually couldn't. Now, several months later and several boot discs later, I had completed the LucasArts batch of titles and I was ready to move on to the Sierra titles. And I remember my initial thought process when playing those two Sierra titles went something a little like this. Oh great, look at these graphics, man. Oh, they're well nice. Oh, there's a creature over there. Let's go and talk to it, see what it has to say. Hello, Mr. Creature.
We're glad you could play Space Quest 4. As usual, you've been a real pet load.
Why did I just died? The creature, it just killed me. I mean, all I did was try to talk to a creature with massive fangs and sharp claws and evil eyes. I mean, why did it kill me? I thought you couldn't die in adventure games. Oh well, it's an interesting design decision, I suppose. We'll just select the option to retry that bit. Option to retry. There's restart, and now we'll restart the game. Load. I load the game. I haven't saved since I started. And quit. Huh? There's no option to retry. Are you serious? I've got to start over from the beginning just because I tried to explore the world that the developers gave me to explore. That's insane. This is so stupid. No, forget it. I'm sorry. No, quit. Time to replay Secret of Monkey Island. The weeks passed on, the seasons rolled by. Peter Andre's musical career started, ended, made a comeback before promptly disappearing again, only to return for a third time to the benefit of exactly no one but Peter Andre himself. Which more or less brings me up to date. About a month ago I wanted to indulge in another adventure game binge, and as I went through the list of titles in the brilliant ScumVM, the emulator for classic adventure games, I came across nothing that was grabbing me. It was none of the games on that list that the classics with which I'd grown up playing were jumping out at me and making me wanting to play them. I needed to play something new. And as I perused the game boxes laid out across the shelf in my flat, I came across the King's Quest collection, which I'd bought a few years previous, more out of a loyalty to the genre than any great desire to actually play the games themselves. And I pondered, do I really want to play a series of games with such archaic design choices? Do I, in all honesty, want to experience the quite literal pitfalls of the AGI engine which those early Sierra games ran on? My mind wandered back to the three-headed monkey gag from Monkey Island, and I thought, do I really want to experience that for the billionth time? And it was pretty much decided there and then, I'm going to play me some King's Quest. Disclaimer, do not consume the contents of a Duracell battery. Doing so will turn into this extra set. Really fuck that up. Okay, so I'll just carry on anyway. What the hell? Oh, fucking hell, what am I doing? Oh, forget it. Let's cut and try it again. For fuck's sake!
Ah, yes, I'm sure to catch some children now. Come, my pretties, come to me. This witch is disguised as a perfect dead skull. Fuck it, I've got it fucked up. Oh well.